This is episode number 5 in Paper World Tutorials. In this episode I will show how to change paper textures. With using a different paper texture, you can change the look and visual style of your paper animation enormously. So let's have a look. There are 27 paper textures included. You can check out the paper textures in the help file where these are listed by type. And also you can find all these in project panel under paper textures folder. I will start with changing paper texture for the whole scene. To change paper texture for frame elements like old trees and earth elements, I will open any of these frame elements. And here we can see which placeholder is in use. When opening that, I am now able to switch to another paper texture. And to make render times faster, turn off the textures you are not using. Now it changed here. And when going back, to see the difference better here, I will temporarily change the scene colors. To something light. Okay, now you can see the difference. The texture has changed for all frame elements in the scene. And to change the texture for other elements like the clouds, fire and these custom elements we created for the scene, I will select any of these elements, open this, open the placeholder which is in use here, and now I can again turn on a different texture. One thing to keep in mind is that the same paper placeholder is in use for several elements and also in template scenes. I'll show you what I mean. I will select this frame element, this Earth 1 layer, and right-clicking on it, reveal the source in project. And here, when right-clicking, I can see in which compositions, in which scenes this element is used. So when going to scene template number 15, which previously was white, I can now see that the texture has been changed for this scene, for these elements also, because the elements are the same. So by changing the texture in these two placeholders, one for frame elements and the other for elements, I changed the texture for many scenes. And this is a very fast way to try a different texture for your entire animation. But let's say that I only want to use another texture for a certain element in the scene and keep the white paper for all other scenes and elements. So to do this, I will select the one element in the scene I want to change. Reveal layer source in project panel. Now I will make a duplicate of this element and rename this according to the texture I'm going to use. Then I'm opening this element, a newly created element copy, and find this paper placeholder in project panel and make a duplicate of this one too. Again, renaming this according to the texture I'm going to use for this. Now I also need to replace it for this element. And we need to make a step back undo. Just dragged it by mistake here. And again, try to replace. And this time it worked. So I will double click to open this new placeholder And now I will turn on another texture for this one. Turn off the previous texture. And when we go back to the scene, we need also to change this Earth 1 layer with the new one where we changed the texture. Then we can see the difference, the change we made. So it's here, and replace this. And this is what happens sometimes. So I just dragged it, Command Z, and let's try again. And now we can see this texture was changed separately for this one element only. So we can now go back and turn all the other elements to be white again, if we want to. Let's close up these so we then don't get lost in the compositions. So we have changed here textures for the whole scene using a couple of steps. If you have a client, for example, then this is a really fast way to let him or her see different final looks and to change these in minutes. And you also can always change the texture for every element separately. Just create some duplicates and use these in your scenes. And let's go to the paper placeholder white for the frame elements again. Now, right now this book paper typo texture is active. As here are all the textures are included. The last one is animated paper. I'll turn this on also. And now when this top one, I will change the blend mode to multiply. So it reveals, it will only add this texture text on the other texture. So below there is an animated paper texture, and on top of this is the typo texture. And if we go now back to the template number 15, the forest scene, and we make a RAM preview for this, then you can see how this animated paper works. So using these textures on top of each other, especially with this animated paper texture, is a way to add instantly some more movement to your animation, or with using animated paper texture, give a stop motion kind of look to your animation. So this was episode number 5 about paper textures. In the next one, I will be talking about backgrounds. And thank you for watching, and please also subscribe to the channel so you get notified when we add more tutorials. Thank you for watching. Bye.